Welcome to the Fusion Power Hour, Real Health Talk. The Fusion Power Hour is presented by Fusion Ions Bands. Fusion Ions, live your best. Go to fusionions.com for more information. And now, here are the hosts of the Fusion Power Hour, Matt Ryncarz and Donald Barrett.
All right, welcome to Fusion Power Hour. I'm Matt Ryncarz.
And I'm Donald Barrett.
And stay tuned for just a great hour we have ahead. What we want to do is take this time, like we've done in other shows, and talk about some of the headlines and introduce a brand new fun segment that we're calling Shameless Promoter of the Week. And this came about because Donald and I have spent time, obviously, just watching the news, watching different health headlines that pop up. And one thing that we're finding time and time again are celebrities that are, under the guise of being educational, are actually promoting drugs. And Donald, why don't you talk a little bit about Howie Mandel, who's our shameless promoter of the week?
Well, Howie Mandel this week was on Fox and Friends, and we put a clip up on our website, UnspokenCures.com. But he was there to basically promote a new show that he's coming out with. But what he was really there to do was promote something for an irregular heartbeat, or what's called AFib. And if you watch this segment, it's very unique how the pharmaceutical companies are strategically advertising to the American public. I mean, Matt, I was telling you just a little while ago that the pharmaceutical companies, as you know, when they put an ad on television, and a lot of people have seen these ads, the 1-minute ads for drugs, yep. They have to list all their side effects. But if they pay someone like Howie Mandel millions of dollars to go on a news program, and under the disguise of being news, he is shamelessly promoting drugs. And that's absolutely what he's doing in that segment. And it makes me mad as hell. I have to let you know that, because these drug companies are getting away with murder, literally.
I couldn't agree more. And, as you really kind of peel back the onion of what he was doing, it was very strategic in the way he was talking about his new show, which isn't even new. It's in its second season. Right, so he really didn't have, if you really look at it, he didn't have a reason to be there. He talked a little bit about it, which he's already done many, many times when he did a tour before it actually launched. Now it's kind of old news. But he quickly shifted the focus, and he actually said to the people on the couch, he said, do you know why I'm here? I'm here because I'm now an educator. And he talks about how he found out he had this condition, and he goes into how to go to a free website and, as he puts it, play a game. You're playing a game, and you learn about AFibs. Now, I went to the site, and the entire time they're trying to sell you on prescription prevention. So drugs to prevent an irregular heartbeat. And you're right, it's sick. I'd rather see a celebrity just stand up and say, hey, I am endorsing Pfizer. And I'm endorsing Pfizer because I take their drugs to help with whatever. And that's...
He didn't even say he takes the drug. He didn't even say he took the drug.
No, he didn't. And that's...
But I guarantee he's getting paid millions of dollars to imply or make it seem like he is.
And he's sending people to what seems to be an unbiased website, but in reality, it's owned by two very, very large pharmaceutical companies, which, by the way, are also going through a major merger. So they make it sound like it's some sort of community-based site that they put together to educate, and they're donating, by the way, $1, I believe, to research strokes every time that you go and take their quiz. Now, we've talked about this before. When that money goes into funds to support stroke research, it turns around and gets put back into the pharmaceutical companies to develop more drugs. So in reality, they're giving money back to themselves, all under this guise. And And you're right. It's not fair. And you brought up,
it's brainwashing. It's really brainwashing the American public into thinking drugs are the answer. And people say everywhere you go, every time you turn on your TV, turn on the radio, Matt, it's drugs, 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 drugs. It's all we're trying to say here at Unspoken Cures or Fusion Power Hour is say no to drugs.
Agreed. And do your own research and find real studies behind all these natural remedies and cures that are out there, because they exist for virtually every disease that we have as a nation. And you're right. It's this sort of marketing to me is unethical because people think that it's purely an educational site. So, like, for instance, unspokencures.com. We are an educational site. We are not funded by drug companies. We're not funded even by natural product companies. We have our radio show sponsors, and then we make unbiased recommendations when we feel a need. But if anyone's seen our site, there's a lot of times we talk about natural solutions and we do not make a product recommendation. We just say, hey, you should be taking vitamin D, for example. But we don't tell you which vitamin D to buy. That's going to be your decision. So that's how we run our operation. And unfortunately, these drug companies don't do it the same way. They're not giving you unbiased information. They're taking, honestly, a play from the playbook of the food companies, which have these community-based food websites telling you how safe aspartame is, telling you how safe GMOs are. And they're funded by Coca-Cola. They're funded by Monsanto. They're the money behind these sites. And it's just unbelievable how much bad information is allowed to be disseminated when guys like us are trying to put credible information out on natural cures that essentially, if it wasn't from our First Amendment right, gets censored in a lot of marketing promotion. So it's I don't know. It's unbelievable. But you brought up before, and I was going to bring this up to you because I thought it was hysterical. But there's a drug, I believe it was a blood pressure drug, and I just saw a regular commercial on TV, and let's say the commercial was 1 minute long. They spent 15 seconds talking about the actual drug, and they spent the other 45 seconds listing all the incredible side effects up until including death.
Right, and that's the law. They have to give the side effects, but by doing it and paying Howie Mandel to go on the news and tell a personal story, they can skirt letting people know about all the side effects. Well, I mean, it's sad, but sometimes the facts are sad.
It is. So every week, and unfortunately, we already have several in our hopper. Every week, we're going to have a shameless promoter that we're going to put out there and just, I don't want to say criticize, but we're just going to enlighten our listeners on what they're actually promoting and a lot of the facts that they have that are bad. And I look forward to kind of getting the real information out there. That's what we do here.
And Matt, mark my word today that Tom Hanks, we recently did a story on Tom Hanks on the website. He recently came out and said he had type 2 diabetes. I can guarantee you the pharmaceutical companies are scrambling right now to do the same thing with Tom Hanks. Make him a shameless promoter of some diabetes drug.
Yeah, I agree.
Be on the lookout.
Yep, that's coming. And you've said it before, and I agree with you. I believe that's definitely coming. Now, Donald, let me shift the focus to you a little bit. I wanted to ask you, let's just tell the audience. So you started following the Unspoken Cures daily workout.
Yes.
How's that going?
Good. I lost about 30 pounds in the last, couple of months. I mean, I'm not where I want to be, but, I'm feeling better than I've felt in a long time. And I'm getting some exercise in. One of the greatest things I liked about the daily workout that we have on Unspoken Cures, that I know you run that part of the website, run most of the parts of the website. But obviously, when you go there, the workout is very simple and easy, and anybody can put a few minutes aside. I mean, the first workout was 12 minutes long. And some of the workouts are 6 minutes long or 8 minutes long. I couldn't really believe what a workout you could get in such a short period of time. And it's simple and easy for people to do. They don't need weights. They don't have to go to the gym. So they don't have to spend all the time, getting ready to go to the gym, driving to the gym, driving home from the gym. They can do it in their own home. And I've been feeling mentally a lot better too. And I think that's something that is an element that happens when people work out. I think they start to feel better. Their brain chemicals, their serotonin, norepinephrine, dopamine starts kicking in as a result of exercising as well. And I'm starting to feel a lot better mentally.
Those are some great points. And my background as far as fitness is strength and then also CrossFit. And that's kind of what led us to start the Unspoken Cures Daily Workout. Was we had so many people that have this impression that in order to get in shape, they have to spend an hour and a half or 2 hours every day or every other day in the gym to get in shape. And that is just outdated data. That's not what it takes. In fact, a lot of studies have now come out that have shown that essentially high-intensity interval training, which is what we do on a daily basis, is a lot more beneficial when it comes to the health benefits, from increasing your good hormones like testosterone and HGH to anti-aging properties to fat loss, you name it. There's been a study done on it and how high-intensity workouts can benefit you. So these workouts allow you to literally not leave your house. They're done without equipment. They are all 15 minutes or less, and they are just a fantastic way to get in shape. So basically, what we've done is we removed any excuses as to why people cannot, don't have time, I guess, to work out. And best of all the results can be accounted for. So you can go on and actually post your results and see how you stack up against the entire rest of our listener base who are also doing the workouts on a daily basis. So there's a great competitive aspect to it as well. And
Matt, why don't you take a minute and tell our listening audience about a new publication that you're working on for Unspoken Cures?
Yeah, so this is it's a passion project for me. It's something that being excited isn't even the right term because I'm just ecstatic to get this out. But we just announced it today. I'm writing the Unspoken Cures Weight Loss Edition. And the important part of what I'm doing is I am laying out a way where people can eat what they want for the rest of their lives and continue to lose weight and maintain their muscle mass. And it's coming from a perspective of my personal story, which I know you know this. A lot of people don't know this about me, especially looking at me today. But I successfully lost 115 pounds after 5 solid years of yo-yo dieting. And when I say yo-yo, I don't mean 5 or 10 pounds. I mean I lost 70, put on 90. It was ugly, and I was in a really, really bad spot. I was in as bad of a spot as anyone is out there that's put on a lot of weight. And through research, I figured out how to beat obesity, and I found what many experts are now calling the cure to obesity. And it's simple. It's so simple. I mean, I know you started doing. I kind of gave you a sneak peek of the book, and you immediately started doing it. And I know you're losing weight. Your wife's losing weight. Everyone around me that I've given this to is losing weight. And it's just I cannot wait to bring it to the masses, because once they realize how simple weight loss truly is, they're going to be angry because they would have wished they would have learned this sooner. But they're going to be enlightened for the rest of their life when it comes to weight loss and staying in shape.
So, Matt, it's actually the book is actually written on a Russian weight loss secret this has been validated by Harvard. I mean, it's not your diet. You actually just follow this and promote this.
Correct. Yeah, this is not anything. First of all, I actually don't like the term diet. I believe it's actually a cure for weight loss. And this isn't something that I discovered. This is something that I found through research that's been suppressed A lot of your major media outlets have not talked about it. Your health professionals have not talked about it. Your fitness professionals have not talked about it. And I personally believe it's because it's so effective and so simple that it could put some of your nutrition industry out of business once this gets out there. So, but it's something that's that important to get out to the mainstream population. And look at me. Look what it's done to me. Just look at my pictures and realize the power of what it can do for the average person.
Now, it's going to be a little bit controversial because you tell people you can eat whatever you want. And I know you explain that in the book, but I've tried all these other diets before I followed this program. And whatever diet I tried, whether it was the Atkins diet or it was the grapefruit diet or it was the don't eat after 7 o'clock diet or the popcorn diet, I once went on a 30-day diet and lost a month. Nothing, no diet worked for me because I had these uncontrollable urges to eat. I felt deprivation. And, being a successful guy, I hate being deprived. I just hate being deprived of things. And, when I'm ever on a diet, I feel like I'm deprived. With this new weight loss cure that you're talking about, I can still eat whatever I want as long as it's during a certain time of day.
You're absolutely right, and that's the key. You hit on it. Deprivation. No deprivation. That is the single reason why people fail diets is because they feel deprived, and they crack. They mentally crack. See, people that are fat, and this is what a lot of skinny people don't understand, is they feel hunger, real harsh hunger that they can't satiate. They can't get rid of. And that's what I felt when I was, well over 300 pounds. I was hungry all the time. And it's because my body wasn't functioning properly. And once you realize how to fix that, which is inside the book, once you fix that, you're instantly a different person when it comes to weight loss. And you can eat what you want to eat virtually every day. So and when I say anything, I mean, you've seen this. Pizza, cake. I know you had a tremendous cake for your birthday, and it was within the protocol. That's the key, is you can eat whatever you want on a daily basis. So
I had ice cream. I had potatoes. I mean, real potatoes with butter and cream. I mean, I don't feel deprived anymore, and I'm still losing weight. And, on the website, the Unspoken Cures website, it's nice because you also give a recipe of the day. So if someone gets the book, they can also go to the website on a daily basis to get the workout of the day, to get the recipe of the day. You make it very easy and simple for people to follow.
It's incredibly systematic and easy way to lose weight. And you're right. We provide that additional support because support is a key to being successful in anything. So when you're growing up, your parents are there for support and whatever you're doing. Well, now Unspoken Cures and myself will be there for support as you go on your weight loss quest. We can lay the easy path, but you want someone to help you as you go along. Just for questions, and we all have different levels of expertise when it comes to what we know about food and what we know about our bodies. And we not only have the recipe, we not only have the daily workouts that get posted fresh every day, but we also have a Facebook support group with other like-minded people, other people that have lost 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. The average that we're seeing, Donald, is a pound a day. Now, it's going to vary from person to person, but the average that we're seeing is a pound a day. 30 days, 30 pounds. 17 days, 17 pounds. It's unbelievable when you see that sort of results. So when you're able to be around other people that have those sorts of results and keep you motivated, it's always a win-win.
Now, I know the book is not being released until the first of the year, but you've released the first chapter.
Yes, and I did that. And you remember what the name of the chapter is. The chapter is strategically called, "What the Hell Do I Know About Being Fat?" And I named the first chapter that because people see me today. You've seen my pictures. You see my strength competitions, things like that, and they have no earthly idea that at one point I was obese. I mean, you've seen the photos, Donald. I was fat. I was very fat, and I wanted to connect with those that are sitting there in that position and make them realize that I've been there. I've been where they're at, and I found the solution to win. And that's what this is about. This is about winning against obesity. And right now our country is losing. And this is a way that we can all win and have the bodies we want, lose fat from the areas we want, be as lean and as strong as we want to look, all in an easy to follow system. And it's not just for someone who's 100 pounds overweight. You can use this to lose 10 pounds. You can use this to lose 20 pounds. You can lose 200 pounds. It doesn't matter. It works for everyone. Now,
if someone does want to read the first chapter before the book gets released, where do they go to read the chapter?
They go to unspokencures.com. You'll see the book cover. Number 1 is on the right-hand side of the site. And you also see a tab that says lose weight. And you can go there. And the cool part is you can read the first chapter, and if you like it, which thousands of people already have, you can actually get registered to get an advanced copy of the book before it hits bookshelves.
Awesome. All right, let's take a minute and hear from our sponsors at Fusion Power Hour.
How do you turn a batter into a hitter? With Slugmaster Hitting Stations. Slugmaster Hitting Stations are the most effective and durable baseball and softball batting practice devices available. Versatile, compact, and easy to use, they are excellent tools for ball player at any skill level. Attached to any pole or post for an instant hitting station. Use it at the ballpark, at home, or anywhere you want to get some hits in. Work the strike zone, top to bottom, in and out. The most complete workout year-round, indoors or outdoors, teams or individuals. Slugmaster equipment is constructed from high-grade steel. The rugged design means years and years of use. Slugmaster equipment is used by youth, high school, college, and professional ball players. For more information or to place your order, call 708-705-7354 or visit slugmaster.com. Slugmaster Baseball and Softball Hitting Aids, turning batters into hitters.
All right, welcome back to Fusion Power Hour, only on the Arena Sports Network. This hour, we're discussing alternative health therapies when it relates to sports and your performance in sports. And to me, this is a very interesting topic because when you think of athletic training, you think of primarily working out. Or I should say when I think of it, because I'm not sure what you think, but when I think of training, I've always thought of it being the on-field training, the on-the-court training, playing rounds of golf. But I didn't take into consideration the extra and alternative therapies you can do to get an edge. And as I've really started to research this area, I found that most of your high-level amateur and professional athletes are willing to do whatever they can to increase their performance by the matter of percentage points. Because in a lot of ways, if you're 1 degree better than your competition, you're going to win the game. And that's what matters. So this show is going to take a look at all those different therapies that are out there. What I want to do now is take a minute and talk about some of the things that I've personally used. We have some experts on later that will talk about what they do. But personally, I've personally used cryotherapy. I've personally used massage. I've personally learned the benefits of mobility, which goes along with massage. And let's discuss that for a second. What do these alternative therapies do? Well, they are there to help your body recoup faster. They're there to help your body deal with the strain and the stress of very heavy training. So let's look at massage. Massage is something that takes about an hour a week. You can go every 2 weeks. You can go once a month. I don't nearly go as much as I need to, frankly, because it's uncomfortable. It hurts while you're getting it done. However, what the massage therapist is able to do if you're using the right therapist. They're able to elongate and they're able to release tension in your muscles that are causing you discomfort. This is important for a variety of reasons. One, for recovery. Two, it's going to essentially help you protect your muscle against further strain. So think of it like this. If you're working out, if you're trying to lift a weight and your muscle is tight, you are far, far more likely to injure that muscle because you're going to stretch it or move it past its current range of motion. So what we want to do is prime that muscle or get the range of motion at its base level increased so we don't move past that range of motion during an uncontrolled movement such as a squat or whatever it may be. So massage is something that's key. I tend to use it when I feel beat up, meaning when I feel like I've been overtraining. As many of you know, I compete in powerlifting, so I'm constantly lifting heavy weight. And again, I should use it a lot more than I do, but I don't. And it's something that the athletes I've spoken with that do use it see a distinct advantage, and it's definitely something that I want to start doing more of myself. The second thing and this is a rather new technology, and that's cryotherapy. So I'm sure everyone remembers, everyone knows the old ice baths that athletes would take. So, for instance, you have a tough football practice, and the coach tells you to go jump in an ice bath. You still see it at the Olympics. I'm a fan of CrossFit, so I see it at the CrossFit Games. Ice is still used as a recovery treatment that many, many, many athletes take advantage of. I happened to be at a CrossFit event myself, and I was actually competing in it, and I did a particularly brutal workout that really taxed my legs. My legs, I had that shaky feeling. It was hard for me to walk, and this was only the first event, and there was 3 more events throughout the day. So I was pretty concerned, to say the least, because of what that meant for my performance moving forward. And what I did, next door, there was a cryotherapy location. And, I'd never heard of this. It sounded like something out of an Iron Man movie. I didn't know what it was. And I walked in, and I asked them, what exactly is it you do? Because they're marketing to the CrossFitters. They said, well, we have this chamber, and you get inside the chamber, and the machine blows ultra cold, like below freezing air onto your muscle tissues. And it's a more effective way to repair a muscle than even ice therapy is. And the way they explained it was when you actually get into their contraption, it looks like almost not a tub, but almost like a big pot that you get into, and it wraps around you. It blasts ultra cold air, and when your tissues are hit with ultra cold air, it immediately rushes fresh blood down to that area. So it fills that area with blood, and then when it takes it away, all the blood rushes away from it. And what it does is it carries out it carries out a lot of the muscle fragments, the torn fibers that have built up in your blood. Because again, our blood is what repairs. So even right as we leave a workout, we have fragments of muscle tissue that are now in our blood. That clears the inflammation, and allows it to heal a lot faster. So for me, I was actually able to then compete the rest of the day, and I felt fantastic. So it's not something that I've done since, really, because it's a therapy that's the actual location's not very close to my house, so it's not very convenient. But I can tell you that if you see one around, I would definitely give it a shot, especially after a particularly intense workout. So coming up, we have sports therapist Robert Rudlick. So Robert has worked with several major professional athletes, and he uses some techniques that aren't talked about. He uses a technique that he's actually told me it's been somewhat suppressed because of how effective the technique really is. And he's going to be here, and he's going to talk through what he does, talk through his athletes, and talk through how he benefits them with his alternative treatments. And again, that's coming up right after these messages. We'll have Robert Rudlick. So again, we're going to take a short break for our sponsors. This has been Fusion Power Hour, only on the Arena Sports Network, and you want to stick around to hear us interview Mr. Robert Rudlick.
Gigahertz, providing customers with excellent service since 2008. Computer problem? Leave it to the staff at Gigahertz, priding themselves with an unparalleled work ethic and continuing to offer customers the lowest prices around. Gigahertz services include PC repair, networking, PC setup, custom PC builds, pickup and delivery, in addition to in-home and in-office service. Get small to large business solutions, service contracts, and much more. Computer problems? Gigahertz. And that's where we come in. Gigahertz for your computer repair and solution needs. In-home, in-store, wherever it's convenient for you. Think your PC's infected? Gigahertz offers free virus diagnostics, with most virus removals done in 48 hours or less. Plus, they'll optimize your PC. Take that, Best Buy. Give Gigahertz a call. 219-218-9323. That's 219-218-9323. Or log on to gigahertzpc.net. Gigahertz, and that's where we come in.
Have you ever wanted your own phone app but thought it was too expensive? Here is something even better. The best custom mobile page QR system in the world, designed for smartphones, iPhones, and tablets. Have the business card of the future for our mobile world. It includes your own customizable mobile page with unlimited flexibility, your contact info, YouTube channel, videos, events, specials, audio, and more, all on your mobile page. Your own back office, so you can make real-time, unlimited updates and changes as often and as much as you want. One code is all you will ever need as you change anything in real time from your back office. This is your business card on all ads, Facebook, t-shirts, flyers, and doorways everywhere. All of this for $99.90 a year plus a $3 payment fee. Visit www.qr2015.net for more information, or call 312-802-1208. That's 312-802-1208. The future is in your hands. Call or visit online today.
All right, welcome back to Fusion Power Hour. And this hour, we've been talking about alternatives that athletes use to help increase their performance. We've gone over a variety of different ways that athletes are training and using off-training ways to essentially increase their on-field, on-court, whatever sport may be, performance. And joined with us today, we have a very special guest. His name's Robert Rudlick. He is a sports therapist. He's a former trainer with the Oakland Raiders. He's a performance coach. He's worked with Olympic athletes. He's worked with professional athletes. He's worked with titans of industry. Their children, pretty much. If anyone's anyone, Robert has worked with them. So, Robert, are you there?
I am.
Excellent. Robert, in your professional opinion, can you go over some methods that are being used right now by professional athletes as far as alternatives during their training to help increase their performance?
Sure. From my perspective, I work with athletes who are often injured or trying to overcome an injury, and they're using, the chiropractic and the massage. But something as simple as massage, there's different types. Neuromuscular therapy is one. Active release technique is another, and these are very specific types of massage that help an athlete to overcome an injury faster and to get back on the field at a much stronger pace. Acupuncture is another one. A couple of things that have really caught my eye recently is the hyperbaric chambers and helping athletes to overcome the effects of training with the hyperbaric chambers. It's a way of super oxygenating the body. And then something that I got turned on to just before I started working with the Raiders, one of my clients, Bill Romanowski, had me investigate something called frequency-specific microcurrent, and it was specifically used for concussions at the time. And
what's the name of that, Rob? What's the name of that again? I didn't catch the name.
It's called frequency-specific microcurrent. They also call it FSM.
Okay.
And it's it's a subsensory current that when a tissue is injured, the electrical circuitry of the cell gets disturbed, it gets traumatized. And what this microcurrent does is it goes in and helps to stabilize the electrical current so that the tissue can go back to regenerating at its normal pace. But also with the microcurrent, you can actually accelerate that healing process by 50 to 60%. It's what Terrell Owens used when he was with the Eagles. He fractured his ankle and his tibia or fibula, and they said it's a 12 to 16 months or weeks, year out. Don't even worry about the Super Bowl. He came back in 6 weeks, and the doctors were so shocked. They went, "Yeah, Terrell, we know you're a specimen and all, but." They took the x-rays. They called in a second specialist. They took an MRI, and they go, the darn thing is knitted. And he played. He had 9 catches for 122 yards that game.
Well, Robert, there's something I wanted to ask you about as well. I recently, about 6 months ago or so, I competed in a CrossFit fitness competition. And for those of you or those listeners who don't know CrossFit, it's basically a lot of exercise-type movements for time, and we competed in a team event. And in between events, they had set up a cryotherapy. I guess it was like a chamber. And obviously, I've seen athletes, and I've done this for years, where you go and you get an ice after a tough workout or whatever to help recovery. And this was supposed to be better than ice, and now I've seen them pop up all over the place. It's called cryotherapy. Essentially, I got into a chamber, and it blew air that was much colder than even ice, and the effects were supposed to be more beneficial than ice therapy, with less risk to the tissues. Have you seen this before, and do you have any thoughts on that sort of therapy?
Sure. It was actually introduced. I first came introduced to about 7 years ago, and they actually have small units that they would put on joints. So, for instance, if somebody had a sprain or somebody got a finger jammed and stuff like this, they would stick it in a unit. I think Stanford was one who actually developed it. And what it does is that it stops what they call the secondary trauma. So when you have an injury, the injury site starts to become inflamed, but that inflammation, the swelling, causes the other tissue around it to become affected as well, because the swelling puts pressure, and therefore the secondary tissues are starved of oxygen, and they become damaged. And so what it does, it cuts down on the amount of damage done in the injury, therefore the athlete can get back much faster. With what you're talking about, I've heard about this just recently, and they're talking about it from the standpoint of athletes being too hot, being overheated,
yep,
and being able to calm themselves down very quickly and get back into competition and actually perform at a much higher rate.
Yeah, that's exactly what I experienced. After the first event, my legs were so taxed, I was concerned about the remainder of the event, and I went in. I had this done in between events during the rest period, and I came out like $1 million. I was able to actually PR'd, had a personal record in an event later on that day. So I'm definitely a believer in that, but I'm a believer in all these additional therapies. And my thought is that it's athletes are always looking for ways to be their best, and they're looking for ways to outperform others without doing the same sorts of work. So obviously everyone at a certain level knows their hard work is going to pay off, but it's how you recover. And I don't think we spend enough time really talking about recovery. And that's essentially what the bottom line is for all these therapies. It's way for for an athlete to recover from the trauma that we put it through. Now, when you're talking about FSM, is that something that an average person can do, or are some of these therapies pretty much exclusive to professional athletes?
Oh, no. All these therapies are available to everyone. You just have to be able to find someone in your area who does it. The frequency-specific microcurrent, and it's different than just straight microcurrent because, just straight microcurrent, you're just feeding the body a specific current, and the body is using that energy to heal itself. Well, with frequency-specific microcurrent, you can dial in a bone or a tendon or a ligament or skin or fascia and treat just that tissue alone. So, easiest way to do it is a Google search and just put frequency-specific microcurrent, put your area, and there are practitioners all over the place doing it. As I said, I've been doing this now for over 7 years, and it's pretty amazing the results I've gotten. I mean, I can take and drop some of these inflammation in a joint, for instance. In fact, the research shows 62% in 4 minutes. I mean, that's almost unheard of. It's better than ice. And the other thing, too, is that it's non-invasive. So if it's going to work, it's going to work. If it's not, it's not. I use it on 6th and 7th graders. I use it on elderly people. I use it on people who have serious injuries, and I also use it on people who just want to recover faster.
Rob, there's a lot. Is it a machine? I mean, I'm trying to visualize what this is.
It's actually a chamber. It's a very it's not a chamber. No, it's a very small machine. And what I do is they come with 2 gloves, okay? And the gloves, there's a right channel, left channel, and basically I wrap each glove in a towel, and then I surround the area that I want to work. Let's say I'm working on an elbow. I wrap one towel around my wrist and one towel around my bicep. I turn the unit on, and the ones that I have now are pre-programmed. I work on my computer, and I put together a whole protocol. And then my client lays down, I put that on them, and then I'll start doing other work on them as that runs. So they're actually getting 2 sessions in one, and it really makes it much more affordable for people because they're going to heal faster. They're going to heal more efficiently as well because, when the body heals, sometimes it heals and it overdoes it. Like my wife has a frozen shoulder now because of a dislocation that happened, and the body just got too active and put too much tissue in place, and now we've got to break that down. With the microcurrent, it ensures that the body's going to heal at the proper rate, but at a faster rate.
Hey, Robert, we have to go ahead and pause for a break with our sponsors. But coming up, I know it's something I'm pretty excited to hear about. And it's a technique that you've been using that you wrote a book on. And according to the APA, it's so effective that it's controversial. So I can't wait to hear about that. So we're going to hear about all that and more right after this break.
Here we are back at the Fusion Power Hour. We're going to continue our conversation with Mr. Robert Rudlick. Mr. Rudlick, are you with us still?
I sure am.
Terrific. I read your book, Anything is Possible. And, it's a unique technique, I would call it, that you use to help athletes decrease performance anxiety and a bunch of other things. Maybe you can explain this.
Sure. It started over 30 years ago with a psychologist named Dr. Roger Callahan, and he was having a problem with a woman that had a phobia, and he was using all the traditional therapies and decided to try and tap on an acupuncture point underneath the eye, and the woman miraculously said, "I'm no longer afraid of water," and he kind of scratched his head and then created something called thought field therapy. And what tapping is it's a combination of, your traditional therapies, talk therapies, you want to ask questions and get some reasons why. Acupuncture, where you're actually accessing the body in a different way through energy. And this energy, you can think of it like electricity. And the electricity courses through our body, and our emotions are tied to this electricity. And when we're scared, when we have a situation where we're really worried, you know what it's like to get the butterflies in your stomach? Yep. That's actually a response. That's a response to that energy getting disturbed.
Right. And the stress that it causes, the performance goes down. When stress goes up, performance goes down. Right.
Think about this. Just a 10% increase in tension in the muscles will distort somebody's performance. 10%. It's almost imperceptible. And yet when you're an athlete, think about a batter in baseball, and he's up, and he knows that the pitcher's got a certain pitch, and he's all worried about it. His reaction time is slower, his muscles are tenser, and his thinking process is slower, all because of stress.
Now, this is something that's simple and easy. I mean, I heard you were on another show where they called it the 3-minute miracle because it works relatively quickly, these techniques.
Very quickly. There's a gentleman named Gary Craig, and he made a simple protocol where you tap on certain points that have an affinity for emotional energy. And it doesn't matter what it is, anger, discouragement, frustration, whatever. when you tap on these points and you think about whatever it is that you're worrying about. So with an athlete, for instance, I'm pitching this game, and then they've got great hitters, and I'm a fastball pitcher. They hit fastballs, and you start to tap. What happens is that you start to settle down physically. Your emotions start to settle down, and when that happens, your brain comes back online. It's like, oh, wait a minute, I've got other pitches I can throw, and when you're in a high emotional state, you really can't think clearly, and you can't perform physically as well either. And so what the tapping does is that it gives you the ability to calm yourself down very quickly, okay, and allow your brain to click back online, and you have more confidence, you're more focused, and your belief in yourself and your ability to do something goes way up.
Robert, can you give us an example of an athlete who's used this and you've actually seen an immediate miraculous change in their performance by using this technique?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'll give you a couple. Number one, this kid, Jesse Reyes, he's a pitcher for Oregon in the College World Series. He actually won the most valuable player in the series. He was a freshman pitcher, and he used to get so full of anxiety that he would vomit before every pitching start, right? And so one of the practitioners up there started working with him, and the announcers are making fun of him because he was, they were making fun. He had Tourette's or whatever the case may be. He's got this funny tick where he's tapping on himself, and so. But anyways, he went and just was lights out for the whole competition, and he credited specifically to the tapping, giving him the ability to calm his anxiety. Give you another example. I had I can't mention the gentleman's name, but he's a Hall of Fame wide receiver and probably one of the best in the business. And he was concerned about an injury that he had. And I was working on him, and I was actually working on the injury. And I looked at him, and I said, it's more than that. And so I started talking to him a little bit. And he didn't want to do the tapping. He thought it was silly. He was embarrassed. And I said, wait a minute, your quarterback, both running backs, your whole offensive line, the other two wide receivers, and half the defense is all tapping. He said, yeah, that's true. So I just did a little bit with him, and he came back in at the end of the game, and he goes, hey, Doc, whatever that was, man, that was amazing. I was so calm the whole game. I said, yeah, so can you do that every game? I go, no, you don't need to. You're done. So whatever it was that was bothering you won't ever bother you again. And that's one of the really fascinating parts of the tapping is that once you overcome something, you're done. And that becomes in your hard drive. You just wake up, and I'm confident now about that.
Now, Robert, I know we're obviously on the Arena Sports Network, so we have a lot of athletes and parents of athletes that listen to the show. But can this be applied outside of athletics?
Absolutely. How about test anxiety? How about social anxiety? How about shyness? People who are afraid to approach their boss for a raise, or you have to do something in a relationship. Let's say, for instance, you really got to have a talk with your partner because this is not working out, and you're really nervous about it, and you want it to come across correctly. All you do is you simply apply this. The other thing, too, Matt, just real quickly, you do this on yourself. You don't have to go to a therapist in order to have it done. I teach people how to do this. So I've got 6-year-olds tapping before, sixth graders tapping before a test so that they're calm, so that they can, they've studied. They've already know all the information. It's just the anxiety causes their brain to click off, and they can't access it. The tapping calms them down, allows the brain to kick back on again, and they do well. Got one of my former players, his daughter did this, and his wife thought I'd been working with her for 5 weeks. I said, no, we just did 5 minutes last week. She's like, well, that's amazing because the teacher called me and said that she aced her last quiz, and she's excited about math now. And I said, yeah, isn't that interesting? So, yeah, you can use it in so many situations. And, again, once you learn it, and that's why I wrote the book. I wrote the book for the general public, not other therapists, because, as therapists, we keep this to ourselves, and I thought that was just crazy. So I wanted the whole world to get this. My book is really simple. By page 80, you're going to be able to do it on your own.
Now, how can you get the book?
You can go to the website, powertapping.com. I call it power tapping. It's really a version of something called emotional freedom technique, or EFT. But what I've done is I've made it more accessible, and I also really focus on reprogramming the mind to believe new things. So you can get rid of an old belief, but if you don't replace it, you'll tend to sway back into a similar belief as the old one, which means you're still sabotaging yourself. So I've made some changes to it and really made it very easy for anyone. As I said, I've got 6th graders. I've got parents capping their babies for colic. So it works fantastic for that. So again, my thing is try it on everything. And one of the reasons why the psychologists think it's so silly and doctors think it's so silly is because it seems to have an effect on everything. But think about this. Disease, pain, all of that is affected by your emotions. So if you have a way to calm your emotional state down quickly, you have a way now to actually improve your health just by the way you think and feel. And I have a lot of therapists and a lot of psychologists as clients, and they scratch their heads saying, how did that work so quickly? And I said, it's just the way the tools work.
Now, Rob, this is really fascinating. Does it really work for everybody that uses these techniques?
Donald, I'll tell you what. If I were to teach you on your own, and you did it, and you just tapped on your own, 70% of the time you're going to get the kind of response that will be like, wow. Wow, I don't feel that way anymore. When I do it, I get about an 85 to 90% success ratio. And again, when I success, the individual comes in within a situation or an issue, and they walk away shaking their head going, wow, I can't even get excited about that anymore. Or, man, I truly believe I can go out and do this. And, I just had someone recently, she came in, she was going after a new job promotion, and she was going to ask for just, I think I could get this. I said, how much do you need? She goes, well, I really need 125. And I said, great, ask for it. Oh, I can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And all the reasons came out. I had her tapping while she told me all the reasons why she couldn't do it. She went in the interview, she came out, she asked exactly for what she wanted with confidence, and she not only got that, but she got a position that was even better than the one that she approached them for.
That's amazing.
All because she had the confidence, and all because she was able to calm her anxiety down and believe something different about the situation, change her perspective.
Well, there's no doubt that your thoughts and emotions control the way you live, and let's be honest. It can make you have a great day, have you have a bad day, all really on how you feel. So this seems like just a fantastic technique to really get your emotions in line with your life or performance goals. So that sounds fantastic.
And the name of the book is Anything is Possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything's possible.
Science is tapping into your power.
And we are going to have a link to the book underneath our recommended products right on FusionPowerHour.com. And again, this has been Robert Rudlick. His website is PowerTapping.com. And Robert, you're in the California area as well, correct?
Yes, in San Francisco.
Okay, in San Francisco. So if we have listeners that are anywhere near San Francisco, I would definitely look up Robert for his services. He's had a profound effect on lots of athletes. So, Robert, I really, really appreciate your time today. It's been truly fascinating. And again, you can find information on Robert and his book at FusionPowerHour.com. Coming up, we're actually going to speak to one of Robert's athletes who uses some of his techniques. We're going to ask him exactly how it's affecting his performance. So all that is coming up directly after a word from our sponsors here on Fusion Power Hour.
Want to get your rankings in the truest form? Want to get the best college news without all the fluff? Then tune into Swamp's Collegiate Sports Show. Join Kevin the Swamp Rat Horan as he ranks all the collegiate sports, from football to basketball and baseball to cross country, soccer, and so much more. Don't forget to visit www.kevinhoranrankings.com and sign up for his newsletter buzzing across the country. So if you want the best college news and rankings and see how the pros are outsmarted, tune into Swamp's Collegiate Sports Show. The Swamp Rat ranks them right every Wednesday night at 8 on the Arena Sports Network.
Hey, can I talk to you for a second? Come on over. How do you feel about mobile banking?
If I could sum it up in one word, easy.
It's so convenient. I actually do a lot of my banking on a mobile app.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
Love mobile banking.
With the TCF mobile app, you can bank anytime, anywhere. So how would you use it?
If I need to check my balance really quick, or if I need to transfer funds really quick, I'll whip out my phone and do the little app.
At the airport yesterday when my flight got canceled and I needed to buy another ticket.
What's the craziest place where you've banked on your phone?
In the bathroom. Before I got in the shower.
Yeah.
Probably a plane when you're not supposed to be on your phone. They tell you to turn it off.
In bed.
I was in Morocco in the middle of the desert.
Morocco?
There isn't a crazy place for mobile banking. It's convenient.
Download the free TCF mobile app for your smartphone and tablet. Switch to the home of free checking today. For locations and more information, call 1-855-OPEN-TCF or go to tcfbank.com. TCF Bank. Surprisingly connected. Member FDIC.
You do a lot of thinking on a bike. About your life, family, your dreams. One of my dreams came to me on a bike. To open up my own shop. So what happens when you complete a dream? Well, you just start thinking of the next.
Visit DrastichAgency.com or call 219-945-3040 and ask Joel Drastich how you can get all of your insurance under one roof.
You know, we have less than a minute left here on our show, but join us every week. It's Fusion Power Hour. Now it's going to be called Unspoken Cures Radio. And we're going to be here every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, only on the Arena Sports Network. So make sure to join us.
Thanks for listening to the Fusion Power Hour, Real Health Talk. Catch the Fusion Power Hour every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern, only on the Arena Sports Network.